gentlemen, in the Big Show studios today is a guy who sold close, somewhere around 260, 75 million records all around the world. He holds just about every record in the music business in the UK. Please welcome British pop icon Sir Cliff Richard to the program.
Oh, my goodness. That's an amazing... When you get introduced like that, I really can't wait to meet me.
No, the best part was hearing you sing along to your own song a few minutes ago. We all sit in here and sing along to the music, and to hear you do your own song.
That's pretty cool.
Well, for me to be in America and hear my music in America is stunning for me, because I mean, I can walk down the streets here in New York, and of course the Americans just don't recognize me, and I love it. To be honest with you, I really love it.
It's nice to be anonymous.
You can't do that in England.
No, in most of the other parts of the world. I can't do it anywhere in Europe. You can't walk around in Australia or New Zealand or Southeast Asia. I mean, it's just...
You might get kidnapped. Somebody pulls up in the band. I got it. And they call their brother. Guess who I got in the back?
Sir Cliff Richard.
I got that damn Cliff Richard in here. Well, it is a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
I've always admired artists who care about their fans. And there are some people who could care less. It's just, they use them and they ignore them. But you have always been very close to your fan base and your audience. And I guess that showed in this whole thing that happened. You had a gig and a rare appearance here in America.
Very rare. Yeah, and I was looking forward to perhaps playing to maybe 12,000 American people because they were coming to see Morrissey. Not me.
And I guess he grew up as a fan of yours and put you on the bill, or how'd that work out?
Well, I got a phone call. I reside in Barbados, so my manager was there, and he said, I've got something a bit off the wall here. Would you be prepared to, be like a support act for Morrissey? And I said, Morrissey wants me to be on support act. We're so different musically, and he's a very political character, and anyway. So I said, you better check out that it's not a joke. Maybe it's just a joke.
One of those Twitter jokes.
Yeah. It turns out it wasn't. So I was thrilled. I was thrilled that he was going to give me a chance, and he said, you can do an hour. And, so an hour, fantastic, to sing my songs to an American audience. But, of course, he fell ill. I think he's still suffering. I got a message from him saying how sorry he was that it all happened. But he picked up this terrible virus. He's still suffering with it. So, anyway, but I came over to appease my fans who was coming over to support me.
And you brought your large band with you and your sound people. Originally, they were supposed to come with you.
Oh, yeah, sure. No, I was bringing over about 15 people. It was going to cost me a fortune to come here, but I was happy to pay to play. And of course, when Morrissey phoned us and said, look, this is all off, we've canceled the gig, we immediately canceled everything, all the hotels, all the flights, except mine. I said, look, I'll just go there and enjoy New York. And then, of course, I got wind of the fans had bought non-refundable tickets on airplanes. They had booked their hotels. So I got onto my Facebook page and said, look, here's the deal. Just go, enjoy New York, and I'll come and do a show for nothing. So we had a great time at the Gramercy. About 500 people were there, and it was fantastic. We had a fun time, even though my band weren't with me. Two of the members were here anyway, having a holiday, and they came and joined me. And normally I'd have a 3-week rehearsal, but I had 2 hours.
Okay,
well, you've been doing it. It's not like you're a rookie. You've been doing it for a while.
I have. To be honest with you, I have. But it was a fun evening because whenever you go on stage, if you're booked to play a gig, the people who come as they go to see Morrissey, what Morrissey can be sure of is that every single person there has come because they want to be with him for that period.
Correct.
And when I came out on the Gramercy stage, it was not only that, though. It wasn't that they just wanted to be there. They were so thrilled that they hadn't had to waste their money.
Sure.
And it was electric.
It's free. And you probably had some people who could give a damn less about you, but it was free.
Well, that's true. That's true. Absolutely true.
No.
Just get in.
People said, are you going to do this again? I said, yeah, but not free.
No, right. Now I've sucked you in. You got to pay.
In case you just turned your radio on, we were talking to Sir Cliff Richard from England, who's had several hits in America. But he's so, believe it or not, it's funny because these days somebody's so excited. We're going to do our first album. Cliff just did album number 100 for you young musicians.
What?
Yeah, but it's one for each of the years I've been alive.
I will tell you. I was a young guy just growing up in the Midwest, and I fell in love with rock and roll music early on. And I would sit by the radio and listen for all the new releases. And I heard this song that I thought was different than anything else on the radio, and it was called "Livin' Doll." And this was back in the late 50s.
59. It would be 1959.
And
I was a child star.
And what's so funny is, at that time, they didn't have a lot of rock and roll concerts, so I got my mother to drive me downtown Indianapolis, drop me off at what they call the Circle there, where they have a Monument Circle, and it's a theater. They used to put rock concerts on in movie theaters, and there was a Dick Clark Caravan of Stars, and it had Annette, and I think Frankie Avalon, and Cliff Richard was on it.
I was.
Oh my gosh.
It was called The Biggest Show of Stars for 1960, and my band and I were the added attraction from Great Britain.
Yeah.
Do you remember Scott there?
No. But I tell you what he did. He wore a white suit.
Yeah, shark skin.
With a black handkerchief. And while he was singing the song, he would kneel down. But before he kneeled, he put the handkerchief down on the stage so he didn't get his knee on.
You're fastidious.
It's so funny. I do a similar thing now. The girls come up to the front of the stage. And sometimes they hand me a handkerchief to mop down with, and I pretend to blow my nose in it. I mean, it's horrific. I said, if you want to keep this is really a souvenir.
Your DNA in there.
I remember too, because I was so impressed, because when you buy a 45, sometimes they put a horrible song on the other side. But the other side of that Livin' Doll song was called Apron Strings.
Apron Strings, yeah. I think Elvis turned it down.
He loved that song.
Did he? Well, I got it.
After you did it.
There's 2 or 3 songs. Somebody that's a real fanatic of Elvis, he knows everything about Elvis, says there's 3, maybe 4 songs that I recorded before Elvis did. Now, I don't know how that could happen, because Elvis used to get his songs. And so when I got Apron Strings, I thought, Elvis rejected this, obviously. Right. He may have had something else that was better.
If I got it, he rejected it.
Well, I don't mind doing a reject if it was rejected by Elvis.
Right.
So I got these songs just by chance, and I don't know how I got them. I've spoken to Priscilla Presley, and she said that Elvis was very aware of all the competition he had. He knew everything about me, everything I did. So I never met him, though. And he was my inspiration. I still say, if there had been no Elvis, there could never have been a Cliff Richard. I don't think there'd have been a Beatles. The Beatles were the same age as me. In fact, Lennon was about 5 days older than I am. And
I'll tell you what, you look a lot better than any. I love the Beatles, but as far as just taking care of yourself, you look pretty damn good.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
And when he did that song, Apron Strings, it sounded a lot like Elvis. I want to be tied to your apron string.
He had the sneer.
Where can you go in America where the DJ can sing the song with you?
Not often.
I assure you, nowhere.
Including here.
In fact, I think you're the first person I met that is as old as I am.
That's great.
Yeah, thanks.
So, when are you going back home?
I'm going to go back on Saturday, actually. I thought I'd stay the week. I had talked with PR friends of mine here and said, look, if I'm going to do the Gramercy and there'll be some kind of feedback on that, maybe we could plan to do something else. So I'm very happy that you agreed to have me on your show. So I'll be doing some radio while I'm here during the week. And then I go back Saturday, and then be at Wimbledon on Monday for the week to see
Brad
them last
was
week.
telling me, what's the deal on him in Wimbledon, Brad?
Well, so Cliff did a very famous thing in 1996, July 3rd, where it was rained out. Wimbledon's very famous, obviously, for the rain.
Like yesterday.
Yes, it rains throughout the whole tournament. And he got up and did an impromptu song Summer Holiday, and all the tennis girls down there, Pam Shriver and Martina Navratilova, heard it in the change rooms, ran up, and became his backing singers for about an hour, wasn't it?
Wow.
Well, it wasn't an hour, but it was an interesting time because I had just become a member the previous year. And, you know, you have to follow the rules. Wimbledon is the only Grand Slam played at a private club. And so I had to wear a badge with my name on it. I had to wear a jacket, a tie.
They don't think the people would know who you are?
No, they don't know. No, that's
It's
right.
just
They
the
would have
rules.
known who I was, but I had to follow the rules.
Oh, I
so
see.
I was doing a radio thing. It was raining. I was doing Wimbledon radio, and suddenly this message was put in front of me saying the secretary would like to see you in his office. I'm thinking, like the headmaster's calling you. And I checked my badge. It was there. I went and he said, look, can you do something for these fans? They're still there in the rain. And I said, I don't have a guitar. He said, well, maybe we could have someone interview you. So the guy interviewed me for 10 minutes and then he said, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you'd never forgive me if I didn't ask Sir Cliff to sing something for you. And I went, oh,
goodness.
no.
I go never.
Well, I did some, you're right, I did Summer Holiday, and with the rain pouring down, I said, we're going on a summer holiday. And then I quite liked it, so I did about 20 minutes. And it was great
Who was
fun.
playing for you?
Nobody, it was a cappella.
Oh, you just sang.
And you know, and of course
you
the
had
press,
the girls singing backup.
the press still have fun with me. They say that the reason why they put the roof on was to stop me singing in the rain. So whenever I see it, if they think they're being real cool and funny, I just say, look, just remember this. Only one person has ever sung at Wimbledon during the tournament, and it was me.
That's a great story. He is Sir Cliff Richard, ladies and gentlemen. It's so nice of you to stop by. We certainly appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And you still got more fans than you would ever dream of in America.
There are some enlightened people here.
And some almost as old as you pointed out. Cliff Richard, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking time. You're delightful, man.
Thank you.